We are back with part 4 of our worst NXT call-ups list. We have gone through the first 30, and here we are at the top 10. Now, this top 10 will probably be left up to debate. Hell, I'll probably have missed some people you think should probably be in this list. But let's get into it, and you let me know what you think. So, number 10, Mia Yim. I've been following Mia Yim's career since she was Jade. And she's a former women's champion, knockout champion over there in TNA, and was a really good, strong hand in NXT. And some really good feuds. And you need someone like her. You need a fighter. You need a brawler. And that is the one thing I think, one of the few things that the WWE Women's Division as a whole is missing. Is they're missing that brawler. They're also missing, in my opinion, a luchador. Natalya fills the role of the technical wrestler, but they failed me. And you've heard me let's say the word fail. And yes, they have failed Mia Yim. She is so much more. And all she has really done is join the OC and lose matches. She has lost multiple times to Tiffany Stratton, who they clearly see as a star, and yet one of the most well-known names in women's wrestling can barely get on TV, can barely get wins. And that's what happens when your roster is just bloated. Mia Yim, in my opinion, she probably should have went to AEW or went to TNA when she was a free agent before coming back to the WWE. It just hasn't worked out for her on the main roster, even though she was in some War Games matches. Number 9, Alistar Black. I don't know what else is there to say about this guy. He was fantastic at NXT, former champion, having a phenomenal feud against one Andrade. And what happens when Alistar Black is called to the main roster? He's put into a tag team with Ricochet. Do y'all remember him and Ricochet teaming up at WrestleMania in a fatal 4-way match? And then that was it. Nothing happened with Alistar Black on the main roster. A man of his talent, a man of his caliber should have been doing so much more. And yes, he for all intents and purposes, is a Triple H guy, but he's no longer in the WWE. He's putting in some good work. Probably should be doing a little bit more in AEW, but he's definitely getting used a lot more and treated like the bigger star that he is in AEW that he was in the WWE. Number 8, Karrion Kross. Now, y'all know me. I don't like Karrion Kross. He is boring. He is bland. I think he is really full of himself, especially I dislike the way he left TNA. But I know that there's something there. When he was in NXT, he was treated as the top star on that brand, period. Defeated Keith Lee, won a fatal 5-way match that featured Johnny Gargano, Pete Dunne, Adam Cole, and I want to say Ciampa. And I'm thinking there's no way he should be able to win this match, and he did. So I'm thinking, okay, this is going to translate to him being treated as somewhat of a star on the main roster, and nope. He got called up without Scarlett in the first place, and I think he never really recovered to when Adam Cole absolutely eviscerated him on the mic. So he gets called into the main roster, does nothing. Then he's given this BDSM gimmick, and that failed horribly. So he's gone, comes back, and he's been presented much better. He's given the Final Testament faction, and they've lost again, period. I want to put AOP on this list with them, but their time with our main roster was so short, so brief that they failed them as well. So let's just toss them aside. So yeah, Karrion Kross has done nothing. Number 7, Ember Moon. Lordy, our forever champion was disrespected, to say the least, on the main roster. She was a great NXT champion. Remember, she was the champion after Asuka vacated the championship, and Ember Moon was just that girl. And then she got called to the main roster, was thrown into a tag team with Shotzi, got hurt, still in a tag team, was released, and nothing. How do you fail one of the top stars of NXT I don't know. They absolutely failed her because, as you can see right now, our forever champion, whose Ring of Honor Women's Championship reign is over 500 days at this point, wasn't given the time, wasn't given the respect that she's earned, that she deserves on the main roster. Number 6, Kaylee Ray. The longest reigning NXT UK Women's Champion has done absolutely nothing on the main roster besides lose the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships and not be on TV. Her and Isla Dawn have been completely forgotten. They show up once in a blue moon asking for a match, and then that's it. And it sucks. Kaylee Ray is so good in the ring that I don't really understand how they failed her. Is it the language? Nah, that can't be it. It's just, I think it comes down to ultimately the women's roster being absolutely bloated. There are so many women on the main roster in NXT that somebody's not going to get on TV. But it shouldn't be Kaylee Ray, who is just that damn good. Number 5, Cameron Grimes. How do you mess up Cameron Grimes, the former Trevor Lee, who was putting in some really great work in TNA, came over to the WWE and started a really good feud with LA Knight for the $1 Million Championship. This was good stuff. Got completely over, went from this, country bumpkin guy to let's play on real life things and cashing in stock and becoming super rich. So that's how we got the $1 Million feud, and it just worked. A banging theme, an absolutely banger of a finisher, and he's done nothing on the main roster. He had a quick feud with Austin Theory, and then that was it. He just disappeared. He showed up last week just to get killed by Braun Breaker. What is going on? You're completely failing on stars that you have made stars from NXT, and Cameron Grimes is one of them. I don't get how do you mess this up. You could always find something for him to do. Number 4, Toni Storm. This is one of the most egregious, let's be honest, fuck-ups that they did. Toni Storm in her days of Shimmer and her days of Stardom was great in NXT UK. Her and Rhea Ripley and Piper Niven and Kaylee Ray were just beating the holy hell out of each other and carrying a women's division. And then Toni Storm comes over to America and goes to the NXT. I'm like, okay, cool. She was in the Mae Young Classic. She is great. She is perfect. And then get called up to the main roster, and what happens? She is fed to Charlotte Flair and then has pie and cake thrown in her face. How, Sway? How do you mess this up? You have one of the best women's wrestlers in the world, and you can't figure out what to do with one of the best women's wrestlers on the planet. And now here we are, timeless Toni Storm, absolutely killing the game right now. Where did it go wrong? You don't have to keep feeding everybody to Charlotte Flair. That should not be the way. Number 3, Keith Lee. I really wanted to make Keith Lee number 1, but wait for the other 2. I don't get it. All things aside with Keith Lee's health and COVID, even before all of that, he was presented as an equal to Roman Reigns in Survivor Series. Y'all remember the Survivor Series where NXT won like all of the matches? Keith Lee was the final survivor for the NXT team and went one-on-one with Roman Reigns, and they absolutely killed it. So we're thinking, great, the star is coming. It's being uplifted for Keith Lee. Goes back down to NXT and becomes a double champion. And then summarily was fed to Karrion Kross, which I will never get nor understand, and then was called up to the main roster to be Bearcat Keith Lee. And I kind of get why he didn't work on the main roster, because Vince McMahon does not like his look. Vince McMahon wants people to look a certain way, but not every wrestler can look the same. A guy of Keith Lee's size and speed and ability should have been given a push and should have been treated like the star he should have been coming out of that Survivor Series match. Number 2, Shane Strickland. Go and check out the last episode of the High Wrestling Podcast, The Ballad of Swerve Strickland. But Lord, how did they fail this man? Yes, he really didn't do much in NXT, but he did enough to know that, oh my God, this guy's a star. And then when he was given Hit Row, even though he didn't want Hit Row, he made it work and he went along with it. Hit Row should have been big. Hit Row should have been big. He gets called up to the main roster with Hit Row, and then they are all summarily released. Like within a month of them getting called up. I don't get it. And now here we are, Swerve Strickland, probably about to become the world champion in AEW. This guy has everything, and they couldn't figure it out. This is one of the ultimate failures that the WWE just cannot take back. And of course, number one, you may be shocked to hear this, the Ascension. Yes, the Ascension. Victor and Connor were, let's be real, the most dominant tag team in the history of NXT. One of the longest reigns. They should have been a big deal on the main roster, and they were just treated as jobbers. Part of me thinks Vince McMahon didn't actually watch NXT, that he doesn't know who these people are, who these people are that he has hired. How do you mess this up? They were a perfect team. Strength, speed, a good gimmick. Really need to speak on the mic because they could just let all their talking be done in the ring, and yet they were left to die and wallow on the main roster. I remember there was a part where they get like fed to legends. I don't get it. I really, really don't get it. But those are the worst failed NXT call-ups. Who did I miss? Could I have rounded it out to a top 50? You let me know. Come back to the channel. Check out the socials. I see you when I see you. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Peace.